The man who built machines to read human thoughts couldn't hear the jungle screaming that he was surrounded. Julian Vane, the architect of algorithms that predicted your desires before you knew them yourself, now running through my forest like prey that forgot it has a scent. Before the satellites lose track of this confession, follow my channel. The digital world forgets nothing, but only those who walk with me will learn how to disappear forever. His shoes, $300 running sneakers designed by engineers and laboratories, were shredded within the first kilometer. The jungle doesn't care about aerospace-grade foam cushioning or moisture-wicking fabrics. I found him at dawn, crouched behind a kapok tree, clutching his satellite phone like a man holding his own beating heart in his palm. The screen glowed with 17 missed calls, 63 messages, GPS coordinates blinking like a beacon, screaming, "Here I am! Come kill me here!" "They're tracking you," I said from the shadows. He spun, nearly dropped the phone. His face, I'd seen that face on magazine covers, TED Talk thumbnails, the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Clean-shaven, confident, master of the digital universe. Now, mud-streaked, bleeding from thorn scratches, eyes wild with the special kind of panic that only comes when your own creation turns against you. "Who are you?" The forest, speaking through an old man's mouth. "Put down the leash before your masters use it to drag you back." He looked at the phone, then at me, then at the canopy above, where I could hear them, the distant whine of military drones, their electric motors like mechanical wasps searching for the hive they would destroy. "They're tracking you," Julian whispered. "I designed the targeting systems myself, for humanitarian purposes," they said, "to find kidnapping victims and disaster survivors." And now? Now they'll find me and call it a terrorist neutralization, a targeted strike against a threat to national security. My obituary will say I died in a tragic accident, maybe a car crash, maybe suicide. The algorithm will optimize the narrative for maximum believability. He was shaking. Not just his hands, his entire body vibrating at a frequency that comes from understanding, really understanding, that your genius built the cage you're trapped inside. I moved fast, grabbed the phone from his hands. He lunged for it, but I'm old, not slow. 73 years in this jungle teach you that speed is just panic with direction. I threw his phone, that marvel of engineering, that portal to infinite information, that 10 billion transistor miracle. I threw it into a nest of leafcutter ants. They swarmed it immediately, thousands of them, each carrying mandibles that can slice through flesh, fabric, and apparently Gorilla Glass screens. Within seconds, they were dismantling it, carrying away pieces to their underground colony like tiny grave robbers. "No, you don't understand. That phone was hardened, encrypted. It's the only evidence I have." "Evidence," I said, "is just another word for anchor, and anchors drown men who won't let go." The drones were directly overhead now. I could see their cameras rotating, infrared lenses sweeping in search patterns designed by Julian himself. The irony was so thick I could taste it, metallic like blood and silicon. "Come," I commanded. I led him deeper, to a place where the canopy is so dense that satellites see only an emerald ceiling, where the trees are so old they remember when my ancestors first walked here, where the air itself is thick with moisture and magnetic minerals that make compasses spin and electronics hesitate. The forest has a malha. I used the Portuguese word because English doesn't have an equivalent. A mesh, a weave. Your machines see data, ones and zeros, heat signatures and electromagnetic radiation, but they can't read the space between, the silence where life actually happens. Julian was hyperventilating, not from exertion, but from withdrawal. I've seen addicts go through detox, alcohol, cocaine, ayahuasca, but digital withdrawal, that's a special kind of suffering. His hand kept reaching for the pocket where his phone used to be. Phantom limb syndrome for the information age. "I need to check," he muttered. "Just need to see if... need to know what's happening. The stock price, my team, the server status." "Your team," I said, gathering specific leaves and bark, "abandoned you the moment abandoning became profitable. Your stock price is being shorted by the same hedge funds that funded your Series A. Your servers are being partitioned and sold to the highest bidder. The digital world moves at light speed. You've been gone for 6 hours. In internet time, you're already ancient history." I built a small fire, not for warmth, the jungle is never cold, but for the ritual. I added leaves from the ayahuasca vine, bark from the chacruna tree, tobacco from plants that grow only in clearings where lightning is struck. The smoke rose thick and white, spreading through the canopy like fog, like cloud cover, like a middle finger to every satellite and sensor pointed at this patch of earth. The smoke has properties your scientists are just beginning to understand. It carries particles that refract light in ways that confuse optical systems. It releases ions that create electromagnetic interference. It writes noise across every spectrum your machines use to see. But more than that, it writes noise across the mind. Julian began coughing, then choking. Then his eyes rolled back, and I knew the smoke had found his brain, had crossed that barrier between the physical and the neurological, was now rewriting his consciousness like a virus updating its own code. He saw them then, the drones, but not as machines, but as what they truly are. Extensions of human paranoia and control, flying embodiments of the species' desperate need to see everything, know everything, own everything. In his vision, the drones had faces, his face, thousands of him hunting himself, creating an infinite loop of surveillance and evasion that could only end in annihilation or transcendence. "Make it stop," he begged. "Please, I can't. The recursion, it's infinite." "That's what you built, Julian. Systems that see everything except the seer. Networks that connect everyone except to themselves. You created digital enlightenment and called it progress, but really you just built a billion mirrors all reflecting the same emptiness." The smoke thickened. Above us, the drones began circling erratically. Their sensors were flooded with false positives. Every tree became a heat signature. Every bird became a potential target. Every shadow became a threat. I watched their patterns deteriorate from algorithmic precision to confused spirals, like watching a chess grandmaster suddenly forget the rules and start moving pieces randomly. The smoke was teaching them doubt. Julian collapsed against a root tree, his expensive technical fabric shirt sweat with rainwater and something else, the moisture that comes from fear sweating out through every pore. "Listen," I commanded. "I don't hear anything." "Exactly. You don't hear anything because you've spent your entire life drowning in noise, data streams and notification pings and the constant buzz of information demanding your attention. Now, for the first time since you were a child, there is silence. And in that silence, listen." At first, he heard nothing. His brain was too busy screaming for input, for stimulation, for the dopamine hit of new information. But slowly, like a photograph developing in a darkroom, he began to hear it. The drip of water from leaves after the morning rain, the chittering of insects communicating in chemical languages older than words, the creak of trees adjusting their weight as the sun shifts positions, the rustle of a snake moving through dead leaves, each scale a whispered confession. "This," I said, "is the original server, the first network. Every root system underground shares information through fungal connections. Every tree releases chemical signals to warn its neighbors of danger. Every animal contributes data to the collective consciousness of survival. It's been processing information for 300 million years, while your silicon has existed for 70. Julian was crying. Not sad tears, but the tears that come from recognizing something you'd forgotten you'd lost. "I designed systems to connect people,"
he sobbed. "I wanted to make the world smaller, more accessible, more democratic. But somewhere, we built walls made of algorithms. We created echo chambers. We weaponized information. We turned connection into control and called it innovation." "Yes," I agreed, "you did. And now the men who profit from that control want you silenced because you remember when it was supposed to be different." 3 days we stayed in that sacred smoke. The drones eventually left, their battery lives exhausted, their sensor arrays too corrupted by interference to continue the hunt. On the 4th day, men came. Not military, but corporate. Security contractors in tactical gear, carrying tablets showing satellite imagery, heat maps, probability matrices for target location. They walked within meters of us. Their technology said we should be there. The algorithms insisted, the data demanded our presence. But we weren't. We were in the